Dame Dash's one-third Rockefeller share bought by New York State at Manhattan auction. New York State placed the winning bid at a Manhattan auction Thursday, November 14th, where Dame Dash's one-third share of Rockefeller Records was sold. An anonymous representative from Albany entered the winning $1 million bid, with the two closest bids coming in at $250,000 and $223,000, respectively. With the purchase, NYS hopes to flip the 33.3% stake to cover Dash's massive tax debt of $8.7 million, the Post reports. A creditor's bid was used for the purchase, meaning there was no need to front the $1 million. The state can now also resell the share at no risk. More than $193,000 in unpaid child support is also being demanded of the music mogul, with the state taking it out of the bid money. The auction is over, but the work is not complete, said attorney Chris Brown, who represents two plaintiffs Dash allegedly owes money. Mr. Dash's legacy is now New York State property. I will work with New York State and New York City as the next phase of ownership of the shares. The auction was previously postponed due to claims made by Jay-Z, who asserted ownership of Reasonable Doubt, his first album and a large asset for the company, would revert back to him in 2031, regardless of who purchased Dame's one-third share. Those statements are false and extremely damaging to the city's interests in ensuring that the auction will generate sufficient funds to satisfy all existing child support arrearages and secure future child support payments, Gerald E. Singleton, an attorney representing the city, wrote in the letter to United States Magistrate Judge Robert W. Lairberge in September.
New York State purchased Dame Dash's stake in Rockefeller Records. The state acquired his share in an auction to settle his broader financial obligations, including tax debts and the child support arrears. On November 14, 2024, the state placed a $1 million bid through a creditor's process to cover part of the $1.7 million in back taxes and $223,000 in child support owed by Dame. Dame Dash's financial struggles have led to the public sale of his stake in Rockefeller Records, a significant moment for both him and the company. His one-third share of Rockefeller, which he co-founded alongside Jay-Z and Kareem Biggs Burke, was put up for auction to address his outstanding debts, including over $1 million in back taxes and child support. The New York State government intervened by placing the winning bid of $1 million, allowing them to take ownership of his stake. This auction was the result of a long-running battle to recoup unpaid debts. In addition to the back taxes and child support, there was also a court judgment involving a claim for $823,000. Dash had faced a series of financial setbacks in recent years, which led to this public auction as part of a creditor's bid process. The sale of his Rockefeller shares marks a dramatic turn in Dame Dash's financial trajectory. It also raises questions about his relationship with his former business partners, particularly Jay-Z, as the event highlights the complicated nature of celebrity finances and asset ownership. It seems that Jay-Z has raised concerns about Dame Dash's auction of his shares in Rockefeller Records. Specifically, Jay-Z's legal team filed documentation stating that the rights to Reasonable Doubt, the debut album Dame Dash helped release, will revert to Jay-Z in 2031. This move has caused some tension, as Jay-Z does not want the sale of Dame's shares to proceed under the belief that it might interfere with his future ownership of the album's copyrights. Jay-Z's team emphasized that they had already initiated the legal process to claim these rights, which will return to him by law in 7 years. Despite these objections, the auction moved forward, with New York State stepping in to purchase Dame Dash's shares, reportedly to recover a significant debt. However, the ongoing legal disputes between Dash, Jay-Z, and other parties continue to complicate the situation. New York State's purchase of Dame Dash's one-third stake in Rockefeller Records is part of a broader strategy to settle his unpaid debts. The state aims to recover funds for back taxes and child support obligations, not necessarily for business purposes like running Rockefeller Records. This means New York State could either try to liquidate its interest in the company or hold it as part of the asset recovery process. However, since the legal documents indicate that Jay-Z's rights to Reasonable Doubt, the major asset tied to Rockefeller, will revert to him in 2031, the state's investment might not be aimed at long-term ownership. Instead, it's likely a short-term hold to help resolve financial matters. The timing of the purchase could influence how long the state will maintain this stake, possibly until the copyrights transfer to Jay-Z. If the state doesn't seek to run the label, they could either sell the stake to another interested party, or, considering the legal complexities, just keep it until the transition happens. It will be interesting to see whether there will be any further moves, especially with other stakeholders potentially seeking to buy out the state's share. It's possible that New York State could look to resell Dame Dash's stake in Rockefeller Records at a higher price, especially if they think Jay-Z or another interested party would be willing to buy it, which seems plausible given the potential value of the label and the reasonable doubt rights that will revert to him in 2031. If the state holds on to the shares, they may eventually negotiate a sale to Jay-Z or another party, possibly at a premium as the reversion of the rights approaches. However, given the complex legal landscape surrounding the company and its future, the state's approach will likely depend on how quickly they want to recoup their investment and whether they aim to resolve Dame Dash's debts fully. Additionally, Jay-Z might also be motivated to secure full control of Rockefeller, so it's possible that the state could use this as leverage in future negotiations. While Dame Dash may no longer have the vast capital he once had, it doesn't appear he's completely broke. His financial situation has certainly been challenging due to multiple legal issues and debts, such as the child support arrears and tax problems, but he continues to be involved in business ventures. For instance, Dash has been focused on launching new companies, including some in the tech and digital space. One of his newer ventures involves a web-based business platform aiming to cater to the digital economy, which suggests he's pivoting away from the traditional entertainment world to adapt to new market trends. Despite the sale of his Rockefeller stake, Dash has emphasized that he's not defeated and is still trying to build new forms of wealth. It's likely that the current financial struggles are just a temporary setback as he works on rebuilding his empire, albeit without the significant backing he once had from Rockefeller and its associated ventures. His future depends on how well these new business ventures perform, but it's clear he's not giving up and is actively seeking new opportunities. Dame Dash could have likely paid off the state to prevent the sale of his stake in Rockefeller, but there may have been more at play than just finances. His relationship with Jay-Z has been strained for years, with public feuds and legal battles affecting their former partnership. Given their history, it's plausible that Dash saw the sale of his shares as a way to distance himself from Jay-Z and move on from their past business dealings. Dash has made statements in the past indicating that he's no longer on good terms with Jay-Z, and the dissolution of their friendship appears to have played a role in their separation both personally and professionally. For Dash, selling his stake could have been a symbolic act, not just a financial one, signaling his desire to be independent and forge a new path away from his former partner. So, while he could have settled his debts and held onto his stake, Dash may have prioritized distancing himself from Jay-Z's influence, which could explain why he allowed the state to acquire his shares. This decision could mark a new chapter in Dash's life and career, focusing more on personal growth and other business ventures rather than maintaining a financial tie to Rockefeller. It seems Dame Dash's decision to part ways with his share of Rockefeller Records and allow New York State to acquire it could stem from a combination of financial pressures and a desire to distance himself from certain controversies. While he is not necessarily broke, his legal troubles and debt, especially the $10 million he owes, may have left him with few options. Additionally, there's speculation that Dash may have wanted to sever ties with Jay-Z due to their ongoing feud, and possibly to distance himself from the alleged criminal activities surrounding Diddy, including sex trafficking and racketeering. This speculation arises partly from Dame's recent comments about Jay-Z's silence amid these allegations, with Dash publicly hoping Jay-Z isn't implicated in the situation. In particular, Dash's acknowledgement of his rocky relationship with Jay-Z might explain his willingness to part with his stake, even though he could have potentially raised funds to keep it. The alleged association between Diddy and Jay-Z in some of these criminal activities could have influenced Dash's thinking, leading him to take a step back from the situation entirely. It appears Dame is trying to protect his own reputation and business interests, while also taking a broader stance on the issues facing the hip-hop community. This could all point to Dame's desire to focus on new ventures, like his web-based business, while avoiding the negative associations tied to his past dealings with Jay-Z. That Dame Dash takes pride in positioning himself as someone who stayed clear of the negative activities often associated with figures like Diddy. He has consistently emphasized his desire to be seen as a more morally upright figure in the hip-hop business, especially compared to some of the more controversial aspects of Diddy's dealings. As for Jay-Z, although he has a vastly different public persona, there have been rumors and allegations linking him to some of the same types of behavior, especially in relation to Diddy's legal issues. Dame Dash, speaking publicly, has expressed discomfort with Jay-Z's silence on these matters, particularly the serious accusations against Diddy, which includes trafficking and racketeering. Dash has implied that Jay-Z's lack of comment may suggest complicity, or at least a tacit acceptance of these behaviors, even though there's no direct evidence tying Jay-Z to these illegal activities. Given Dame Dash's pride in distancing himself from these kinds of controversies, it's possible that he saw the public fallout from Diddy's troubles and Jay-Z's potential connection to them as a reason to sever ties. By selling his stake in Rockefeller and letting the state take ownership, Dash may have been making a conscious choice to avoid any further association with the kinds of activities or negative public perceptions tied to both Diddy and Jay-Z. It's clear that Dame Dash has made a deliberate effort to distance himself from what he perceives as troubling associations with both Jay-Z and Diddy. His concerns about their past activities, including the criminal allegations surrounding Diddy and the more controversial aspects of Jay-Z's dating history, likely play into his decision to cut ties with Rockefeller. Dash has long positioned himself as someone who wants to be seen as separate from the negative aspects of the industry. His distancing from these men, especially at this point in time when various allegations are coming to light, seems like a calculated move to protect his image and reputation. There are indeed numerous rumors and allegations surrounding Jay-Z's dating history, including claims about relationships with younger women. These issues have been controversial for years, particularly as Jay-Z's past relationships, such as with Foxy Brown when she was underage, have resurfaced in public discussion. While some of these allegations have been denied or downplayed, they continue to follow him as part of his legacy. The combination of these legal troubles, public scrutiny, and the evolving accusations involving Diddy seems to have prompted Dame Dash to separate himself from what he views as a tarnished legacy. By allowing the sale of his portion of Rockefeller, he may be signaling that he wants no part in the fallout from these controversies. Dash's decision seems to be more than just a financial one. It's about protecting his personal and professional future, especially as the tide turns on figures in the industry who are facing increasing public scrutiny. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content, and leave a comment below. See you next time.